today I'm going to be commenting or responding to some incredibly cringe from some of the people on r/destiny. So I don't spend any time here, but I was looking up some astrology meme or something, and I happened upon this little gem. So for those of you who don't know, Destiny is a really unfortunate, low IQ, left wing political and social commenter. He's in the same territory as Vosh or Professor Dave or any of these people who basically just pretend to use rational arguments, but instead play around with the first principles, whether knowingly or non-knowingly, and play with language, and in the end just end up using fallacious arguments like, appeal to expert authority, and all these people just they can't stand on the grounds of their actual these people will claim to be rational, but then they won't know what a woman is. They just have incorrect first principles, mostly because of things like compassion, but also just because of low verbal IQ. And so basically Destiny is like Vosh's younger cousin with 20 less IQ points. And that's not a compliment to Vosh. That's just an insult to Destiny, because Vosh is a complete mongrel. So anyway, I stumbled upon this. They were talking about a post on what looks like Twitter from the unfortunately named, I might add, Schrodinger's brat. That is kind of an unfortunate name, but what she's saying is actually kind of based, which is that girls should bring up astrology on a first date, not because it's an accurate measure of compatibility, which it might not be for those girls, because I doubt many of those girls actually do astrology particularly well, but that's beside the point. But because it self-identifies men who are arrogant, condescending, and incapable of entertaining opinions they disagree with. Now, Destiny, being a product of, in many ways, the French Revolution's political philosophy, is an atheist. And because basically most liberals are atheists. And this is primarily because they are selfish and like the idea of reason, but aren't particularly good at it. So, did these rational, enlightened beings on Reddit, did they end up debunking astrology? Or were they, in the words of Schrodinger's brat, which is a terrible name, I can't stress that enough, but anyway, were they arrogant, condescending, and incapable of entertaining opinions they disagree with? All right, well, let's look at the comments to find out. No, I agree. Women should bring up astrology on a first date so I can know who to fucking dodge. Very cool. That's actually one of the more tamer ones. One of these people in the comments says, I remember going on a Tinder date years ago where somebody asked me my astrological sign, and when I told them I was a Gemini, they said that was perfect as, God, this guy does not know what a period is. That was perfect as they were a Libra, so we'd be super compatible. Unfortunately, my autistic ass decided to rip into astrology then. Needless to say, she didn't think we were compatible by the end of the date. So that guy, for those of you who don't know, that is a man who destroyed a woman using facts and logic. He beat her to death using facts and logic. And I bet that dude's autistic ass gets loads of pussy. I bet he's really popular. Not that pussy is the prime metric of life, obviously, but it probably is for that guy based on his comment. Let's look at this guy. My wife believes in astrology. I was arrogant and condescending anytime she brought it up. She hasn't mentioned that shit in over a decade. Bullying Works. So that guy is a winner, and I bet he's going to still be married in 5 years. And if he is, then that's too bad for his wife. This guy, Bust My Nuts, 7 months ago, says, you don't realize that if you want to get pussy, you will nod and say, wow, that's so interesting. Like most things in life, it's not worth fighting over. But apparently, to bust my nuts, pussy is worth lying over, but not worth fighting over. Wicked Demiurge says, it depends on your goals. If you want to fuck, yes, baby, Marx would have loved to use healing crystals to help the proletariat. So that guy, apparently he wants to fuck not just people who believe in healing crystals and stuff, which has limited applicability, but regardless of what you think about that, the more concerning thing is that he would like to fuck a Marxist and lie to them. That's crazy. It's a great take, and I agree with it, but not for the reason she stated. I would rather someone bring it up on the first date because it self-identifies the woman as a retard. So, I think that falls into the arrogant, condescending, and intolerant category. This one I thought was funny because it starts out reasonably well, and then so this guy, his profile picture is the Reddit logo in communist what's it called? In communist garb and colors. Guy says, Guy, you are falling for what this tweet is actually about. For 1 second of your life, you don't have to act like the all-knowing atheist. Amen. But it gets worse. This tweet is talking about the reaction someone has. Most women don't actually hardcore believe in it. Also true. It's just a fun interest. True. But a lot of these comments are proving her point is that men can't barely respectfully handle this kind of interest. Also correct. If not particularly grammatically correct, at least the point he's trying to make in his broken English is cogent. However, the nail in the coffin of his sentence. If she was anti-vax, then I understand, but astrology is the most benign shit ever. Ah, yes. Okay. So this guy is an idiot. So, instead of trying to defend, firstly, anti-vax is, what they mean by this is anybody who criticizes vaccines even once ever. Even people who think they're worth it, but have trade-offs. So, but for anybody who's really interested in learning about vaccines and the arguments against them, go to the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, most recent interview with RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and you will learn about vaccines. So that guy, if information loss on Reddit is watching this, which I highly doubt, he should go check that out so he can learn to stop being an idiot. So, genuine question. Is it worse to believe in astrology or the real stupid parts of crypto GME level conspiracies? On one hand, astrology is based on really stupid axioms and isn't real. Okay, well, at least he knows what an axiom is. That's better than most people. On the other hand, believing that crypto will replace gold and the current round of NFTs have true value show awful decision making based on real inputs. Well, I doubt that crypto will replace gold because you can't make debts based on crypto. Anyway, wooden tokens have already replaced gold, so that's not that big of a deal. The current round of NFTs, well, current round, yeah, possibly. But one thing's for certain, though, if they start doing cashless society and things like what happened in Canada to the truckers convoy keep happening, people are going to develop their alternate forms of currency and kick the the World Bank out of their stuff, because people aren't going to deal with that shit for very long. So basically, he's not into astrology, which is unfortunate, and at least he knows what an axiom is. All in all, that comment's not so bad, actually. All right, here's a guy. Here's an interesting guy. Seriously engaging with astrology is a good litmus test for you being intellectually susceptible to believing race science. Ah, yes, race science. What race science might that be? That Africans have, or people of African descent have a 15-point IQ deficit, even when you factor out nutrition, and a 30-point IQ deficit on average when you factor in the African nutrition levels. Is it that 13% of the population in the U.S. commits 50% of the violent crime? Is it that if you took all the black people out of America, which I'm not advocating for, that gun crime would cut in half and we would have the same gun crime as European countries that have no access to guns for their citizens? So what about all of that race science? See, to wrap this up and as a general point, these people, this is what I'm talking about when I say the veneer of rationalism. So these people they're very obsessive with the idea of rationalism. In fact, they almost worship their own sense-making, but they do not realize that their own sense-making is deeply flawed and subject to their emotions, and also because most of them, if not all of them, are unwitting products of the French Revolution intellectually, but they've never really studied the French Revolution, or at least the dark parts of it, they don't realize that every time a society that tries to exist based on facts and reason and logic and shit, it doesn't work. Like, you can read about the Jacobins and their temples to reason and how that paved the way for the reign of Napoleon, and it's not functional. Like, rationality and science as a tool for organizing society is simply not functional. This is why religions exist. This is why every society except for ours has religion, and in fact, we're starting to get religion too, but it's not a good kind. It's the kind where women can kill their babies, and women don't exist, and people are whatever they say they are this minute, punishable by law. That's not a very good religion, you know. I'll take Catholicism over that, provided it's not the old school crusade kind. But this is why I gave props to the dude who knew what axioms were, even if he clearly did not understand astrology, because whatever this guy thinks the axioms that undergird astrology are, they're not stupid, because astrology is based on an ancient tradition that goes back to Greece and Egypt and Rome and Babylon, all these ancient places, and astrology is seriously archaic in a good way. In fact, it's the precursor to astronomy. So the idea that there's a cosmic pattern and that certain times are used for certain things and everything is made of energy and vibration, and the world is a product of mind, we create reality into existence, or co-create reality. These are not stupid axioms, whether you agree with them or not. And since this guy's axiom is probably the science, TM, he's certainly not on par with that level of thinking. So anyway, that was my video on that. I just thought I'd share that with you guys because I thought it was fucking hilarious. Till next time.